We'll lead with an update on COVID vaccine supply.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by TD Ameritrade. For a trading platform that fits you, Thinkorswim offers customizable screeners, charting, and forecasts. Learn more at tdameritrade.com/thinkorswim. And by GEP, helping transform supply chains with strategies, services, and software, including GEP Smart and GEP Next, AI-based digital procurement and supply chain platforms.
I'm David Brancaccio. With FDA approval for the first coronavirus vaccine expected as early as today, the one from Pfizer-BioNTech, there's news about the second one submitted for approval, the one from Moderna. Bloomberg News is reporting there are contracts where Moderna would supply extra vaccine for distribution in the U.S. if rival Pfizer's production fails to meet demand, which is expected. And a big setback for a third vaccine candidate, this one from GlaxoSmithKline and its French partner Sanofi. It may not be ready for a year. Here's the BBC's Rob Young in London.
The UK's GlaxoSmithKline and Sanofi of France have been jointly trying to develop a coronavirus vaccine. It's a more conventional jab than Pfizer and BioNTech's, which is already being injected into arms across the country. Glaxo and Sanofi say they're disappointed to have to announce a delay to their programme. They had hoped their vaccine could be ready by the middle of next year. But the companies have said the inoculation provoked an insufficient immune response in older adults during clinical trials. So the companies are working on a more effective vaccine, which could be available towards the end of 2021. The UK has ordered 60 million doses from the firms in advance. Companies and governments have said many effective vaccines will be needed.
Rob Young with our editorial partner, the BBC. In just a moment, we have a story about the financial system and the pornography industry, but I'll give you a moment here to opt out if there are those in the household or the car for whom this might not be appropriate. Meantime, markets, stock index futures are down this morning. The Dow future down 246 points, 0.8%. S&P and NASDAQ futures are down 0.9% each. Now to the story with the content warning. Visa and MasterCard have stopped allowing their cards to be used on a very high traffic site full of sex videos, Canada-based Pornhub. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer joins us here. Nancy, what are some of the catalysts?
Well, they're responding to an investigative report in the New York Times by columnist Nicholas Kristof. He says Pornhub is, quote, infested with rape videos and monetizes child rapes. Kristof says he saw, quote, recordings of assaults on unconscious women and girls on the site. Some of the women have repeatedly asked for them to be removed. MasterCard and Visa say they did their own investigations. In statements to the Times, MasterCard said its investigation confirmed violations of its standards on unlawful content. Visa said the processing of payments to Pornhub will be suspended while it finishes its investigation.
And what about reaction from government? Could there be legislation to ban this type of content?
Well, David, Pornhub is part of a pornography conglomerate called MindGeek, which is mostly based in Canada. Pornhub appears to have assumed it was protected in the U.S. by a part of the Communications Decency Act known as Section 230. Section 230 gives internet platforms some legal immunity, so they're not liable for content posted by users. Congress put limits, though, on Section 230 a few years ago. Now Congress is considering overhauling the law, and President Trump wants it to be repealed.
Marketplace with Nancy Marshall-Genzer. Thank you.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Omidyar Network, a social change venture that is reimagining how capitalism should work. Learn more about their efforts to recenter our economy around individuals, community, and societal well-being at omidyar.com. And by C3.ai. C3.ai software enables organizations to use artificial intelligence at enterprise scale, solving previously unsolvable business problems. Learn more at C3.ai. And by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, committed to thriving children, working families, and equitable communities. Learn more at WKKF.org.
It's been 2 years since California's deadliest wildfire hit the town of Paradise. 85 people died, 18,000 structures were destroyed, and as Lily Jamali reports, people are still dealing with their insurance.
After what's known as the Camp Fire in California, Jan and Tony Dunn moved to North Carolina. They lost everything. Back in March, just before the pandemic shut down, I visited them at a cafe near Asheville. They say they're still battling their insurance company, Nationwide, which by their estimate owes them more than $280,000.
We stopped communicating with them verbally because it was just way too much of a problem. It was very stressful.
The Dunns say Nationwide asked them to itemize everything they lost.
Our list has 6,200 items in it. It's just crazy to have to go through room by room and remember, okay, my office drawer, what was in there? It's painful and traumatic. It's not right that anybody would ask you to do that.
The Dunns also say Nationwide promised to cover the cost of moving to North Carolina, but they say the company later refused to do that. The Dunns are not alone in their frustrations with the company. Back in Paradise, fire survivor Jeannie Webb started a Facebook page where fellow Nationwide policyholders can exchange tips and vent.
Everything's a nickel and dime issue where you've got to back them all the way up to the wall, stick the Department of Insurance on them, fight with them for 6 months to get one day. Every single thing is like that with them, and it's exhausting.
In a written statement, Nationwide Insurance spokesperson Ryan Ankrum said the company can't comment on individual claims, but is working in good faith to fully honor commitments to policyholders. Nationwide isn't the only insurer facing criticism, but California's insurance commissioner has opened an audit known as a market conduct exam of Nationwide's practices. And while some people are still trying to get paid for their claims, those who haven't lost their homes have a different concern.
The rates are going through the roof. You know, the ripple effect as companies pay out on claims will go through the market for years.
That's California Assemblymember Jim Wood. His coastal district has been hit hard by large fires in recent years.
This is a huge issue, and it's not going to go away anytime soon.
He worries about the possibility that home and property insurers will pull out of California so that his constituents won't be able to get coverage at all. I'm Lily Jamali for Marketplace.
For developments throughout the day on money, markets, workplace culture, innovation, check out Marketplace later today with my colleague Kai Brisdahl on many public radio stations or streaming marketplace.org. This is the Morning Report. I'm David Brancaccio. We're from APM, American Public Media.